Well, I was looking a bit sore, mate.
Yeah. Oh, there's a funny story behind it, actually. You see, this morning when I woke up...
Paul explained the root of his injury, unaware of the alarming and terrifying presence sneaking up behind him. If only we were blessed with the gift that so many insects were, of being able to swivel our eyes or head to the back of our bodies.
Suffice to say, I won't be going back to Shropshire anytime soon.
That sounds nasty, mate. Hey, what's that behind you?
Oh my god!
What is that?
Oh no, if only I could move.
Shit, if only you and the rest of your country wasn't paralyzed from the waist down. Surely this is God's most twisted machination. I'm Shirley Rutherford, and this is one of my stories. Bwah, 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 bwah. Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that's been bachelor buddies for years. I'm Paul J. Warren.
And I haven't come here to be victimised by mine or your fears.
It's my fears that always trip us up, because I'm deathly afraid of allowing people to finish sentences. It terrifies me.
I'm afraid of not abusing people mentally and physically.
Luckily, I must and am compelled to do so, and I'm relatively good at doing so. Check what I've been endorsed for on LinkedIn.
It's you with a kebab.
60 million views. God, he works wonders with that thing. Yes, the final recommendations month ep has been delayed indefinitely to next weekend. So
I can't wait that long.
It's really difficult to wait that long, especially considering I know what's coming up. Ooh, it involves a Stafe.
Is he going to smile? Bets. Place your bets.
He actually does. It's powerful. It's sensual. It's balding.
I thought you said Spalding. Like the sport brand.
It is. It's Spalding in every way that counts. Particularly the footwear. But whilst we're waiting for that wonderful Spalding adventure, let's busy ourselves with this fine-looking history hole. Down the history hole!
Well, has someone done it up since we last let down it?
I think so. Oh. It seems more naturally lubricated.
No, sorry, you don't have to push me.
Yes, we're jumping on a full 10 years from the giant spider invasion to inexplicably fail to escape the creeping terror 1963.
Oh no.
Bobby.
He avoided specific details for fear of disturbing her more than she was. If the truth were known, Martin was more than a little disturbed himself.
Barney, you should try narration. It would do wonders.
He was the world's leading authority on space emissions.
God! Bobby.
It was almost an hour before Caldwell learned of the monster's devastating new attack.
Sergeant, take one man and check it out.
Yes, sir.
How far cinema has come.
How cinema has come, and this is the result.
How we have come, everybody.
No cinema. It's best not to.
Not now.
God,
Not
tell you
again.
what though, it sure is nice to just have a 70-minute movie to watch. Production notes seem a bit crazy though. Sounds like the sort of mythos that gets spun unaccountably around a Mystery Science Theater 3K movie. If only there was something with a bit tad more legitimacy. Oh, a 2-hour documentary about the making of the film. All right, I'll watch that then.
Now,
what's it called? The Creep Behind the Camera. Great.
Paul, I do have to ask, did you watch this?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called The Creep Behind the Camera, and it has dramatic reconstructions of the making of the movie. Oh, good, something to really muddy the water between fact and fiction. Brilliant.
Jesus.
Couldn't have just had talking heads of people who are actually there and have interesting things to share. Let's have some asshole pretend to be the guy.
It doesn't help a documentary about Nazi hunters. It's not going to help a documentary about the making of the creeping terror.
It just reminds me of those History Channel, fucking history documentaries that are actually made for, chads, where it's just fucking Genghis Khan faces a great dilemma. You got some guy, Jeff from accounts, is dressed as Genghis Khan.
The guy who played
It's
Stanley.
like, it's like 300.
He had a decision. Do his 300 crunches now or after the sacking of Byzantium?
Look, all I'm saying is Kenneth Clark didn't need to use actors in order to enact his incredibly subjective and imperially insensitive history of civilization. So why do it, BBC?
That's
Get
right.
Kenneth Clark back.
That's right. The creep behind the camera is a BBC joint.
The creep in front of the camera, Kenneth Clark's involved. So, the documentary paints a picture of director-writer A.J. Nelson, or as he's billed here as Vic Savage, actual name Arthur White, basically as this ultimate hustler. All mouth and bollocks, but living in his car.
Okay. Wow. Successful dude.
Seems to be the case. Yep, he's seducing people, doing drugs, conning, stealing, just being a bit of a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And according to those interviewed, was not terribly interested in making anything as a piece of art.
Anything, full stop.
Not interested in making anything.
Yeah.
He just wanted to let it happen. And isn't that where real beauty comes from?
Sure.
Terrence Malick.
Sure is, yeah. How different that would have been if he was living in a cave instead of a car.
I love the idea because he's mostly seen in a string vest and a cup of coffee and cigarettes, but he's living in the cave. Morning, Johnson.
He pretends it's a car.
Boy, cave life sure is noisy.
Good thing I'm living in this automobile.
I should have moved the wolves out first.
God, he's crazy. He's such a joker.
He is. He's fucked each one of those wolves. So there's some intrigue involving the writer because the script is credited to Robert Silliphant, but is actually written by his younger brother Alan Silliphant. And both are trading on the success of older brother Sterling Silliphant. He got the best name and the best career, who at the time was writing for Alfred Hitchcock Presents and Perry Mason.
Okay. Whoa,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So Sterling was doing well for himself. The other two had to sort of make do
Yeah, okay. Well,
by writing The Creeping Terror.
it's
At
like
least
My
one of them
Brothers
did.
with me.
Oh yeah, they're all writing Creeping Terror.
Yeah. Based on a creeping
for ages.
terror that I enacted upon them. Use it, I said.
That's what they call you for terrible reasons.
Reasons I'm not willing to
Apparently
repeat.
Savage fell out with the Alan Silliphant because he argued it ought to lean into being outrageous, whilst apparently Savage wanted it to be straight. There is absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever.
But if you can just pretend that it was, then that's 20 minutes of a documentary, mate.
It'll do. It'll absolutely do for a dramatic scene in a doc.
It'll literally do.
Alan left and went on to make The Stewardesses, a softcore 3D porn film that is still the most successful 3D film ever made, profit to budget.
Oh, good.
It was shot for 100,000 and made millions. It's like Paranormal Activity, except, people getting boned on a plane.
Which is what was missing from Paranormal Activity, basically. It was my main...
Aeronautic Activity.
Aeronautic sextivity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, welcome to
boy.
Sextuary. It's Sextuary somewhere in the world.
Air Force sex.
The dog... Air Force sex? Come on, get in there, Harrison Ford. Get into Gary Oldman. So... Oh god, no, I just went to highlight something and instead I dragged it and now everything is incomprehensible. No, help me, Alan Silliphant. Here we go. The documentary... Thank God for Control Z. The documentary lays out all the scenes that should have happened according to the script. It would have been shot on Lake Tahoe, a very big, grand location, and it would have had things like tentacles coming out of the water to pull people underneath, very much like in the Meg 2. Tentacles pulling a car window down so it can get at the couple inside. And at one stage, it was going to stay at the end of a stage and eat a chorus line of girls one at a time as they sort of come towards him.
Big ideas.
Big ideas, kind of cute, ambitious. Seems achievable, but not if you're Vic Bastard or whatever his name is. He instead shoots near a mud puddle in the middle of nowhere, and he made this.
And this is not even a this. I refuse
This
to
is
accept
hardly
that
a
this
that.
is this. Yeah, it's not even a that. It's not even a what's it over there
Yeah.
with the stink lines coming off of it. Not even going to
Could
grace it
maybe
with that
pass as a
epithet.
when.
Yeah, and a why. But a why
definitely a
suggests
why, mate.
momentum, and I'm not willing to give this a
As
why.
Descartes often said.
We're getting philosophical, listeners, because we have to. We don't have a choice this week.
We genuinely have to.
Nothing else to
Descartes
talk
needs
about.
us to, because if we don't mention him, he doesn't even exist anymore.
Well, yeah, and
he's
been haunting us in our dreams. So
there's also that. Turns out if we think he is.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Anyway.
It's like the
It's
game.
a nightmare.
Don't think about it.
Oh, God. Anyway, apparently there was also a falling out with the creature effects guy, John Lackey, which leads to him walking off set with the finished monster, leaving Savage and his crew, his remaining crew, to improvise a new one, which is the one we see in the movie. I don't know if I'd buy that. That's a bit too perfect.
Yeah.
I mean...
Sometimes things are that perfect, but also...
Sometimes. But even a piece of shit that looks like this, could you really scrap that together? I feel like you need a costume guy to put together something at least that with that many pieces.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I don't know what happened, Paul. And as much as I'd like to say, just come up with something and pretend that I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll do that later once
it's gone us this far, mate.
Volker's kicked in.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We'll come back. Because of funding issues, it films intermittently over 2 years. Fair. But never mind all that, because let's address the big one. After how dumb the monster looks, the second most noticeable thing about this movie. There is minimal dialogue in the film. Most of the dialogue is described by the narrator.
Yes.
This man's name is Martin Gordon. The lovely girl beside him is Brett, his bride of 2 wonderful weeks. It's late August. They're returning from their honeymoon to their home in quiet, peaceful Angel County, California. Martin's Uncle Ben is sheriff of Angel County, and Martin is his senior deputy. Martin has high hopes of succeeding his uncle when Ben retires. But for now...
Many theories as to why.
Okay. Hit me.
Maybe Savage didn't care to record good quality sound on location. Can be quite tricky. And then ran out of money before he could pay for it to be dubbed.
Savage indeed. Vic indeed.
Yep. Vic indeed. Or the sound was improperly transferred, or just not transferred at all in order to save money.
Oh, yeah. That's a good excuse. Good reason.
Apparently, he edited it on a piece of equipment that was only designed for silent movies. That was knocking around from that era.
Thought you were going to say piece of paper. That would do it.
Yeah, edited it on a piece of paper. Just, solely directed it for a child's imagination. Or they just lost some reels. Who knows? Or that.
Yeah, or lazy. Or that.
Yeah. I mean, that last one has added credence considering the following. Apparently Savage was sued for fraud, and so he just disappeared before the release of the movie. Some weird accounts about what happened to him next, including him skipping town with a 19 or 9-year-old, depending on who's telling it.
Okay.
So, yeah, troubling. But he reportedly died of liver failure, aged 41.
Oh, how convenient. He escapes another one.
And he became Donald Trump.
Uh-oh.
But with him gone, the film is retrieved by William Fulbury, the main financier, who has an edit made and then releases it in the hopes of getting some money back. I don't think it worked.
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think you destroy it.
Yeah.
You get it insured and then destroy it. Yeah.
This mustn't be seen by anyone. I just quoted Jack and Jill. Al Pacino's Jack and Jill.
So you did. And that's why
Hooray.
you come back to One Good Thing, listeners. I almost forgot the name of the podcast.
Yeah, fuck it. Who knows what this is? I don't. I've lost track of everything.
Thanks to The Creeping Terror.
Thanks to The Creeping Terror. I couldn't find any contemporary reviews, but there's plenty of newer stuff as it becomes a bit of a cult film.
This is literally great.
It's literally great, and it's because it was reviewed on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Of course. So we're going to get some very, very fun, random, totally random and cool reviews where people are, giving it great reviews and being very wry and ribald.
Well, not at this occasion. On this occasion, I found a modern reviewer that has all the reputability of one of our classic contemporary reviews. It's Vic Bastard at Vic Bastard's Mausoleum, who says, in a review of the Mill Creek Entertainment Package Cult Terror Cinema.
Sounds good.
Not a bad one. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. He says, I shouldn't assume that Vic Bastard is a he. I don't know their pronouns. They say, The Creeping Terror is widely considered to be... The Creeping Terror is widely considered to me one of the worst films of all time. Widely considered to him.
Widely considered to me.
Yeah, widely considered to me.
Is he a hive mind?
Sorry.
That
explains everything.
Sorry, is they a hive mind?
They is hive mind, and I think that's something that we should all be, at the very least, respecting, if not more.
It's more than I'm willing to understand, so I just have to respect it.
Absolutely. Public, because, yeah, we'll say public because I put Vic Bastard a level above that.
Oh,
I feel
naturally.
they've earned it.
Yeah.
But the public, on the other hand, were more than a little disturbed themselves.
Oh, no.
Bob Lipton on IMDb said, There's a strong tendency for people to rate movies like this, one on the IMDb, because negative numbers are not available. I prefer to reserve that rating for misfires that are so bizarre you can't help but watch, like a train wreck. Others will give it a 10 because it makes them feel superior. This is inept and dull. I like to feel superior, mate, and I do that by going around and rating things like The Creeping Terror 10 out of 10.
And it is very intimidating, in fact, to what witness you go about that, because what's left for the normies,
What's left? What say you, the meek?
Oh, I give it 5 stars, like a fucking wuss.
Like a fucking wuss.
My dad was right.
With that weak ass shit. I'm giving it 10 star.
Because you're an Ubermensch.
Get out.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, I didn't prepare this bit, so I'm going to have to go a little bit off piste.
Oh, no.
So, Paul, you Bradford.
Paul nodded and said hello.
What's one thing about this movie that ensured that if you survive, you will never go there again?
Oh, Paul. I didn't prepare this bit either. I started the sentence, looked down at my notes, and I've just got, with all my printed notes, I've just got the phrase, how naive I was. Paul, I like watching a movie about the necessary togetherness of man and wife. And
Absolutely, mate.
I enjoy,
it's essential.
Yeah, I enjoy that subtext or just text.
Yeah. Take it anywhere I can get it.
Being told it or not being told it, being left to infer it, or just being told it. Mostly being told it. Just makes me realise that I'm not a full man yet. And
not just yet.
I appreciate
not until you lock that shit down. But I'll tell you who has locked that shit down, and that's Vic Danger, because he's driving home with his current best gal.
Oh, yeah.
What time is it?
Almost 4:30. Almost dawn. We should be home in another hour.
This man's name is Martin Gordon.
2 weeks into a wonderful wedding or marriage.
It's wonderful. But unfortunately, it's also wonderful because it gets interrupted by a rocket landing in reverse. Oh, no!
Oh, that old trick.
Yeah, and a horrifying monster comes out and ambles around a bit, but nobody sees him yet.
Nobody wants to, Paul.
Nobody yet.
It's the creeping
His uncle
town.
drives past, though, and what is he? He's like a sheriff or something, and his uncle is sort of super sheriff.
Something
Maybe he's
like
like
that, yeah.
editor. He's something like sheriff in training. He's first assistant sheriff.
Yeah.
Is Vic Danger, and his uncle, sheriff in chief.
That's it. That's exactly it, word for word from the movie, actually. And his
even
uncle,
the ums and the bits where I misspoke, all in the movie.
weirdly but true. And yeah, his uncle Ben. Ooh, oh
Oh no! Watch out!
Shit. Change your name
He's
quick.
from a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
But he drives past and says, "You two, come be in the movie." And they're like, "Okay, you come too, dear."
Okay,
Yes,
good. I do love her.
They find the rocket, and they observe that it looks like it could have come from an enemy, and the woman says, well, it could be one of ours, and thereby contradicting a man, and so rightly anticipates a slap, but it doesn't come, because they reluctantly concede that she may have a point, it might be one of ours. But
I think it was the other way around. She said it was one of theirs, and the husband goes, "You may be right. We don't have anything nearly that big."
Oh, that's interesting. That's a bit of evasiveness. He sounds like a commie.
Oh dear, I did wonder from the name "The Creeping Terror" if this was going to be an allegory for communism, but I don't think
Might
the
be
film.
pro-communism.
It might be.
Maybe the creeping terror is capitalism.
Yeah, could be. It could be.
Creepier. There's not a lot you can say about communism that it's creepy. Not when they line up royal family members and shoot them in the head. It's not really. It's not what I call insidious.
No, yeah, I guess you don't say, ooh, Stalin's purges were creepy.
Yeah, there's something about Stalin. He just puts me off.
Just gives me, I don't know what it is. I know everyone loves him, but I just feel a bit iffy around him. No,
I love that.
true.
I love the whole communist threat thing, because if there's one thing a communist won't do when you fucking meet them immediately, is tell you that they're a communist and give you a pamphlet.
Yeah.
Oh, we do at this stage get a look at our crazily shaped hero/director as he emerges from the car and reveals his terrific proportions that he's got. He's a proper 50s man, reminiscent of Nicolas Cage when he was in the incredibly mixed up zombies that became...
Yeah. His third movie, most successful movie. Yeah,
Doppelganger.
He's a man of interesting shoulders.
Oh, he sure is. And limbs. He's got limbs for days, mate. As many limbs as you want.
Oh, God, he's got as many limbs as there are Sundays. I'll give him that.
As there'll ever be. You've got to give him that.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away from him.
No.
Not with those limbs.
They can take his uncle away from him, though, because his uncle goes to inspect underneath the rocket. And, he does a scream, Paul. And no 50s man is going to stand for that kind of effeminate caterwauling from an uncle, no less. So they run away quickly.
God. They shoot him a couple times and they run away. Incidentally, what lured them in there is they find a hat and they're like, this hat belongs to Jeff Peters. Jeff, is that you?
Jeff!
He did say he was building a new automobile. Jeff!
Said he was going to blow you all the way. Yeah.
So he goes in and gets eaten by a lion, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So they say his name a couple times and then calmly return to their car like a 50s couple might and run away.
They could hear the voiceover coming from overt hills.
We'll be chewing on him for a while. Let's get out of here.
We can fit in some more smooching.
I don't know, mate. This situation, it feels like it calls for a special unit. That's what I get. Some kind of special unit. Go, men, go! And they get out of the truck. And then, get back in! And they all get back in. I'm just testing you idiots.
Let's go.
Nah.
And boy, mate, what urgency and dynamism the Army Alien Special Unit displays. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
All
on,
right,
guys.
But if you're expected to be the enemy, then you should have left earlier. They find the place. Sergeant, you go check it out with Sponson. And they go in. Oh, it's all right. It's all right, General. It was just a boiler making that sound. Oh, wait. Ah! Turns out that's the fearsome monster.
Oh, no. Some sort of boiler that looks like shit. Like fucking wank mess.
It's all right. Sarge, it's just somebody's absolute shitty old rotten rug in here. Looks like bollocks.
Quick, run.
Well, it still looks like bollocks. Ow.
Wow.
So
run or walk. Away. Something. Do something. Any kind of movement.
Any kind of movement to get away from it will be fine. So they have a discussion and they make this decision not to inform anyone. And the survivors of the deceased are very cooperative with this.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Do your country proud.
But, this allows a saucy couple to gradually get eaten by the ramshackle fuck of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. Why? Why did we let Austin Powers get here first with the joke?
She gets eaten a lot, but she does a bit of screaming.
Gets a bit of screaming out.
So she gets that in. It's good to get that in before you're dead.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The husband, the boyfriend who ran away goes off to be in force majeure, and then we move on with the movie.
A really grim version of force majeure where the family really did die and only he knows about it. What do you think of that, Tormund?
And he's suffering from all these like masculine prejudices and like mixed ideals, but no one else knows what he's going on about. So there's no outward shame. It's all inward.
There's no foil. His Julia Louise-Dreyfus died. So, they speak to the Great Dame. Vic Cannon does, and says, hope you're feeling better about witnessing that murder. And she's like, oh yes, I had a little lie down. Oh,
okay,
good. You might be a sociopath. I like it. I like it, honey.
You'll go far in America.
But look, nobody fucking worry because an English man is coming. It's Brick Bobson. And the narrator explains, and he's here to poke around a bit and maybe come up with a solution.
Maybe. You don't know.
Maybe.
You don't know he's not going to. So stop it.
Anyway, our main character, Vic Danger, he comes up with a bit of a scheme, and he and his mate, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna fucking sneak into their house. So they sneak in.
What?
And then one of them goes to the lounge, and Vic explosion. He goes into the kitchen. And it's like, honey, I'm home. Oh, say, why don't I go through to the living room? And oh, Barney's here.
Ah! Got you, you slag.
You fucking idiot. You had no idea Barney was here. I sure didn't. Would you like to stay for dinner? Fucking hell.
Oh, Jesus. Why didn't you tell me we have visitors? I look a mess. You sure do, honey. You're a genuine disgrace.
Barbie, you got any appetite left after seeing this?
Seeing this, just pointing at her and screaming in her face. But joke's on Barney, because as the narration explains, he's very sad and not a real human being because he's not married yet. And in any way, the impromptu dinner party just ends, or really begins with the husband and wife just macking on the couch.
Yeah,
Barney leaves.
They just they can't understand why Barney doesn't come around more often.
And Brett, the wife, is beginning to suspect that Barney resents her. Why? Why would he?
This used to be me and him.
Do me here on the couch. Oh, this is so fucking good.
It's so fucking good. I love that fucking idiot Barney's here. It makes it so much better.
You can see your cock and everything. Fantastic.
Great. Oh, both of their cocks are out, and it's great.
Oh, I love
Barney
it.
didn't know where to put himself, literally.
Oh, it's like communism.
So, it is, and I'm all for it.
It's a very smart
Meanwhile,
film.
a new character, Betty America, and she has to say goodbye to her poor husband, Broadband, for the final time, which is a great shame. Because a big duvet, they say that, like, this will be the last time that she sees him, because she's going to get eaten. Really? The giant duvet gets her. There's a good gag to be had in that somewhere, just really heavily implying that it's the guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the last time that she'd lay eyes on him. Rom.
She's dead. But
no.
none of that happens. It's all very surface level, this film.
What will Broadband do now? Especially with little baby gas valve. Anyway. Brick Britain is fucking around in the ship and a dial starts going crazy. Oh no.
Dials.
It happened right after that last murder is revealed to the audience, but not our main characters.
Yeah.
Who knows what it means?
Oh no, if only you had that information.
So the monster gets a fishing man and boy, a picnic, several members of a hootenanny, and teens.
Fucking hell.
Teens.
The staple of the Gorehouse Great / History Hole. The extended club scene.
A 20-minute long club scene.
Doesn't do wonders for my faith in humanity, Paul. I tell you that.
You also, the monster also gets a man in a car that has 23 skidoo written on the side. Oh, that was the C word back then. I'm glad he got it.
Communism.
Incidentally, this whole thing was set on the same ranch that eventually Manson and his family would move into. So some of these cars could have been used in their nefarious activities.
That explains Charles Manson's oft-cited catchphrase, 23 skidoo!
23 skidoo.
What does it mean?
Oh, that Manson. What a wacky... Brick Britain has some ideas about all this. He's been testing the monster with heat, light, sound, air pressure, poking it, fucking it, eating some of it. Have you tried communicating with it? Not yet.
It's not the American way.
Exactly. This is the creature that they have. They have one of the creatures. There's two of them. One of them's locked inside of the ship, and the other one's wandering around eating teens.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all it's doing, that's fine, really. But yeah, they could also just put like a big, like just find a big bell that they're not using, and just plop it over the top of it. Got loads of bells in 50s America.
You can get it.
60s.
You can get one of these fucking things off of the earth, like a spider from a kitchen.
Yeah. Just mage hand, and they got mage hand in the 60s, right?
Oh yeah, they were all about it. So eventually, the army decides it's probably time to put an end to this. Brick England tries to argue that the monster should be captured alive. Commie.
God damn it, commie, you fucking.
All right, we'll promise to do our best. So they immediately shoot at it with rifles and handguns.
Whilst approaching it.
Whilst approaching it, weapons are short range.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought if you want it to be safe, you use a sword and then you can keep your distance, right?
Yeah. Swords work across the field. Very much like chess. Sword is your queen. So the monster eats most of the army because, unfortunately, the army is like those fainting goats when you panic them. They just kind of flop over all stiff.
That's classic army, textbook army maneuvers there, mate.
All right,
Sarge!
we tried to take it alive. It's grenade time. So he takes his trousers off. Sees the beat. So, oh no, he fell over. If only grenades were long-range weapons.
If only I brought my sword.
He manages to lob one and it immediately kills him in a series of quick cuts that would make Christopher Nolan proud. It was like the fucking Trinity test, the way this thing blew up.
Oh, genuinely beautiful.
That's that sorted. Guess I'll just drive this car around slowly and then we can end the movie. Oh no, wait! That was David Eastbourne, and he rushed back to the ship in order to deliberately and inadvertently set off an explosion which injures him and unleashes the other creature. For fuck's sake, David.
Yeah, I didn't. I'd either forgotten or I didn't know that there was a second creature. And when it's introduced with 7 minutes to go, it really is. Oh, fuck off!
He was well established, mate.
Go away, Phil.
He's the ticking clock.
Oh no!
So, luckily, this time they just run it over. It's fine.
Just flick its balls.
I haven't thought of doing that. Just fucking hit it with a car.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Got loads of cars.
Martin tried to help the doctor, but there was no time. Bradford told Martin what he had just confirmed, that these monsters were highly specialized test animals. They were, in fact, mobile laboratories that consumed human beings in order to analyze them chemically, undoubtedly to detect weaknesses in the human species.
Could these things actually be laboratories intended to detect weaknesses to be beamed back to the home planet? I don't know, but maybe. Meanwhile, Vic Danger did also have a hilarious go at stopping the transmitter, but his bit of wood is just no match for their advanced alien technology.
Oh.
We are doomed. So, yeah, with David Essex dying on the ground, they just ask him, will there be more? I don't know. Then it ends. So, what do you make of the creeping terror?
How naive I was, Paul. When
fucking foreboding the opinions.
Two minutes in, the narration starts, and I go, "This is going to be lovely. This is going to be so fun," because of how much it felt like Reefer Madness. This is Billy. He's driving home with his best gal, but he's having sickening, insidious thoughts of communism, maybe. But no, it's after about 15 minutes. When the novelty of it wears off. And then, you get to see the creeping terror. And it's very funny, the first couple of scenes, when it takes 17 days for him to just move from left to right of scene. It really, really is just 1 hour more of that. And it's just creeping. Yes. There are scenes where I just thought, I could fast forward here and it wouldn't make a difference. Better not. And then I wish I did. Because
it feels more than its length.
It is the dancing scene, the creeping scenes, like the dancing scene. It keeps cutting back to it, and it's just showing people doing the twist in more and more, like with more and more ridiculous enthusiasm.
It was provocative back then.
Oh man,
that was a sex scene.
That's porn.
In the 50s.
Yeah,
in the 50s that were 1963.
Oh. Best time to have the 50s. The 50s wasn't ready for the 50s. The 60s was only just ready for the 60s. So imagine how ready it was for the 50s.
That explains everything you need to about Nixon.
I reckon. But yeah, God, boy, Paul, that monster moved slower than I was willing to suspend disbelief for.
There were about 3 incredibly hot, underpaid students. And when I say incredibly hot, I mean temperature-wise. That's
why they couldn't move. It is as ridiculous as the Austin Powers joke of
Yeah. Well, especially when you have people like the first victim who screams the same way over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just ah, ah.
But there are ways...
As this thing slowly comes towards her.
Oh. And there was just, it's not like if she'd have gotten up at any point, the monster would have had an attack of opportunity. I don't know why I'm thinking of D&D so much today.
It's dreadful. I hate it.
I try not
Such
to.
a nerd.
I fucking hate that game.
I need you to be the jock of this podcast.
All right, ladies, how's that?
That's pretty good. It's pretty hard.
Cool.
I'm into it.
Thanks, mate. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm not really. Safe.
Oh,
that was a close
burn.
one. Almost let people know that I have feelings. But
I got burnt.
Good. Not really, mate. But yeah, like you could have. There was a way around it. You could have had it go full schlock and have her crying, like screaming, and the guy getting into it and thinking that she was, she's really getting into the sex that they're about to do. At least have a reason for them being immobilized. You could have given the aliens this weird, inexplicable ability to instill terror in people so that they couldn't move, so they were rooted to the spot. But it's not. It's just
like an allure.
Or just something, or just like a pheromone or anything. It's a fucking silly alien movie. Just have it exude something. Just give it like some sort of reason other than no. It's only funny for so long.
It is. It does outstay its welcome, and there is actually there's some precedent for how to make. If you wanted to do this legitimately, then there's a Stephen King story called The Raft, which was then adapted into the second Creepshow film, and that was about a weird goo that sort of lay across the surface of a river. So some friends go out, on a raft to have a party, and then this goo drifts in, and if you touch the goo, it sort of sucks you in and digests you whilst you're sort of in there. So it's it's very graphic and kind of gross. But the goo also has this sort of hypnotic ability to pull you in, where you sort of become really drawn to the goo and sort of just stare out into it, and it's it's quite good stuff. It's one of his better sort of short stories, obviously written in as he usually does, but it's quite good. But you don't even need to do that. You could just have the creature. If you've got a carpet with a vulva-like mouth, just have it lay in wait. Just have it go out to the forest and then seemingly blend into the moss. Yeah. And then when people come and tread across it, you can just have them sink into it and then get sucked into its weird little hole. Yeah. Having it try to chase people down when it's that unwieldy just doesn't really work. Yeah. But that's if you want to make it legitimate. I have no interest in it being legitimate. I'm fine with it being campy and ridiculous. But I think it does run out of ways in which it is campy and ridiculous is the problem.
And it becomes patience testing.
It does,
insanely
because
so.
What you've got is the fabulously bizarre and cheap-looking creature design. Yeah. You've got the terrible performances. Mm-hmm. You've got the bizarre use of narration. Yeah. And you've got the kind of humor, which does cross the line twice back into humor several times after being patience testing, of just how slowly the movie is moving. Yeah. Not the creature, but the movie. Yeah. And so it's when it cuts back to the dance again, there's various points where you will find yourself laughing at just how insanely ill-judged this is.
True. I feel like I would have appreciated watching this with you. Just so I could turn to you and say, what the fuck is going on? Because as it was, I was just sat here on my own at 7 a.m. going, what the fuck is going on? And it was more annoying.
I also watched this first thing in the morning in bed, so... It was, a patience testing.
Bed would have been nice.
Bed was very good, but I kept, just rolling back into it and being like, all right, well, I'll hear if something happens.
Well, that's it. When the narration happens, I was just, I just switched off and stopped looking at the screen because it was like, well, okay, I don't have to do anything now. It's just telling me. But then I look back at the screen and find the couple just smooching on the couch whilst Barney's sitting there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth watching the entire thing because the performances are so clearly terrible even just from having no audio. Well, mostly no audio. There are little bits and pieces, but no, for the most part, it falls short of being an enjoyably bad movie, I think. I think it's just... It's a cynically made film, and it kind of tells, and it's only really funny in as much as it is when it's so shamelessly cynically made, but also just it does have those little aspects of incompetence that do move it into endearing. So yeah, it's okay, but we've definitely had better history.
Oh, for sure. With
We've had
these...
worse too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the problem is with these sort of 70. We've had a couple of 70-odd minute movies in history holes recently, I think, and I found that they tend to be a sign of they are not long enough to be they're not enough to be feature length, so they're padded out.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
And actually, the alluring nature of a 70-minute movie is incredibly deceptive, and I hate it for that.
Yeah, but compare it damn it, I want to compare it to the Gorehouse Great that you didn't see, the Terror, the one we couldn't find anywhere. That's a movie where literally nothing happens slowly. In this, ridiculous, crazy, over-the-top things happen very slowly. So there's good ideas, and I think a decent script in there. It's just the execution is so poor. So I do want to give it credit for that.
Yeah. There's definitely things I liked.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Let's get into those. Let's quick fire then. Quick fire.
Let's approach it slowly whilst firing.
Quick fire. Ho-ho, let's go.
Ho-ho, let's go. I never use it.
Never use it. I'll have the opening music for 5, Bob. I thought, the music in general, my God, did it get mind-numbingly repetitive in places, but the opening music got me into the right sort of place, I think.
It's it's basic genre stuff, but with genre sometimes you have to adhere to principles. Yeah. Ba 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 ba. This is a crazy science fiction movie.
Our heroes will win the day and reaffirm the values of America.
Getting married. I really liked at 3840 the sad folk song with the easy rhymes. It was quite satisfying.
I said that I loved her and would till I died. I tried to forget her and I really did try.
I can't remember the tune now, and the rhyming was very obvious, but it kind of worked because it was quite tragic, I think. Cut to the sample of it, and it's anything but. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Had a nice melody and a sort of mournful voice.
A mournful voice on the moors. A crazy piece of music that's stuck with me ever since I edited it the first time is, what was the fucking Nightmare in Wax? You remember there's a scene where they cut to a go-go club inexplicably?
Yes.
The little tune that's playing in there, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
Actually, that is the tune from one of the many dance numbers in The Incredibly Strange Creatures That Became Mixed Up Zombies.
Oh, God. Okay.
God, the one in which it involves like a little coquettish bop from the dancers.
Oh, my God.
Just bizarre.
Your memory is scary.
It's a terrifying place that I don't want to be in.
Let's move on then.
Speaking of which, the noises it makes when it eats you are quite something. Yeah,
that was my other main good thing. It was like,
and the idea of it is because you don't know how alive you are when you go in.
Yeah.
Another thing it has in common with the Meg 2. More on that later. Later next week. Yeah, you don't know how alive you are, so it's kind of similar to Nope.
Yes, Nope is one of the better movies that I thought of. Nope and Arrival are the two that almost made my one better thing. Arrival just because of...
almost. Can't wait to find out what did, folks. It's going to be pretty special. It's a hot buff.
It's Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise is Top Gun Maverick. I love it. In the middle of this nightmare, there's another scene of death and misery, and then we cut back to Marin and Brett smooching in their car. Those newlyweds can't get enough of each other, and it's fucking great. That was a fairly late moment in the movie that got a good laugh out of me.
This unleashed monster sure is vexing me. Shut up, darling. So
touch it.
I do it. There was some top quality 50s dancing going on in the 1963 Hootenanny. A lot of twists, a lot of bops, a lot of the same move over and over. But my God, it got more and more intense as it went. It was like Gaspar Noé's climax.
Yeah, one guy had done microdosing wrong and was really pushing the boundaries of what the twist could and should be. It's great. Especially because he had that 50s, not that 50s strongman bod, but that like wiry, I'm wearing a suit with massive shoulders bod. And he was doing his twist with his what I'm now going to call the Oppenheimer tie. Just that long, like I'd have to wear a tie, so here it is, tie.
if I've got to wear this, it's going to be as long as I can get it.
Going to use it to snatch up all the fillies. I did very much enjoy the army maneuver, attacking the alien in a group, approaching it like like the fucking cast of Cats, like all in unison, tiptoeing with their guns, and then when the creeping terror creeps all the way over to them and then gets on top of them, we then cut to wide of a shot of the army being overrun and how silly it looks in full. It's just,
it's very good,
amazing. It doesn't do very much to add to the terror of the movie, but it's very good all the same.
I'm going to keep the attacking the hootenanny till later.
Okay.
Noises are disconcerting. What does that mean?
Is it just the alien eating noise?
Just the alien, just the noises he makes. Oh, no, I do know what that means. I will say there's a moment where the alien attacks a guy in a car, and it kills him in the car, I think. But then it just keeps flipping the car over and over again until the guy is sticking out the window so he can get at him. And there's just something a little distressing about that, the idea of just messing up this car until the meat comes out.
Yeah.
Like a cat patting at a tin of meat. You know, just hoping to damage it enough to get at the thing inside. That was quite upsetting.
That's true. It is good. It's, very that animal instinct.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of animal instinct,
the
guy wailing on the terror with the guitar was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was good when he attacks the hippie picnic.
Yeah, and they're just trying to have a hippie picnic, and he wails on the alien with the guitar with a good amount of force and frenzy.
Yeah, breaks the guitar.
Cruel justice.
I like the way that the creature was always making these weird yelling noises. Because sometimes you could trick yourself into thinking that it's like a Nope-style situation, that those noises are coming from the people still being digested inside. Yeah. But in general, it has this kind of creepy, otherworldly kind of screech noise, which I thought was rather good.
Cool. Yeah, the standout kill for me, it might be the picnic. I forget because it all kind of blurs together. But the it approaches in the way that it does, and people don't move in the way that they don't, and then it falls on top of them and it starts gobbling them up, and then we see it from behind. So we just see the back of the alien, and it's just rippling and billowing over the top of all these people, and it it just leaves it to the imagination. And the billowingness of it is a very grody, nature's weird sensation.
Just under the billowing imagination.
The billows of my imagination pool are a terrifying place, full of the screams of digested humans.
Sometimes I thought that the face on the thing did look quite good, because it's got all of these weird tentacles hanging off it, and sometimes they have it just sort of shake its head awkwardly back and forth so that everything wobbles and kind of gyrates, and sometimes looks like the tentacles might be moving at their own volition. So yeah, it had a somewhat creepy effect whenever it was shot in sufficient darkness.
Okay, that the original vision made reality. I did like after Barney arrives, after Barney and fucking whatever his name is, Vic Fantastic, arrive at their house, and he comes in to see his wife. But he comes in and he's pouring a drink, and he sneaks a little kiss with her then whilst they're pouring drinks, and it was quite sweet. It was quite sweet and not silly, like the rest of it.
I love that. That. Love sweet and not silly. I like that at one point the narrator, I think it's when... Sorry?
It's my favourite Chinese dish. Sweet and silly chicken. Get out, they say.
Yeah, get out. Near the end, when the guy is dying, there is a moment where the narrator is sort of describing what it is he said, and then says,
he told Martin that the information fed into a computer in the spacecraft. Further, he added,
and it's just, I like that has the real shitness to it. It's like the it's like the bit in Futurama where where Leela's talking to Nibbler and finally understanding him, but we're only hearing Nibbler speak, and she says, "Oh, and you go on to say,"
Yeah.
It's got that quality to it, which I like a lot.
Yeah, that's very good.
And I think that's my last one.
Yeah, I believe I have also exhausted my good things.
My final good thing, Paul,
Yeah.
is when the monster attacks the gym, the place, because the hootenanny.
Community Hall Hootenanny.
The Community Hall Hootenanny, because it comes, first of all, after a long period of withholding in which it intercuts them dancing with just the creature slowly getting its way through the car park.
Edging
and
closer.
Then edging all the way
right.
and edging us. And it's wonderful. And then just, it's appearing in the door, sudden screams, the music cuts off immediately. Some woman in a very relaxed sort of slightly drunk New England way just says, "My God, what is it?"
My God, what is it?
People after a little while, people are just calmly walking away. A fist fight breaks out, and there are just single shots of people looking scared.
Yeah. What a silly, silly time.
What a silly time for us all to be alive. God, well, let's just hope against hope that the Patreon might just have something for us.
True. I always hope that. And it's only on days like this when it's appropriate that I get properly excited, but also find my hopes dashed. Well, but if not, at least we get to end it in an anticlimactic way similar to the movie.
Well, let's hope we do. I mean, nothing in the Patreon, but we should check in with the rest of the OG team.
Okay.
On Meta, I think it is now. Who the fuck knows? We've got Jennifer Sones.
Jenny!
The best thing about this fucking website. By
True.
a mile. Never heard of it, but quite enjoyed the trailer. Was the narration truly spellbinding? Did the man who was fishing find Bobby? I believe it was Bobby. And he did not find him because he'd been eaten by the creeping terror.
No.
The narration was spellbinding. I saw this trailer too. This was a sort of retro, because I don't think a trailer was made in its first run. I don't think the fucking financier who found the tapes in a cardboard box in the corner of the garage that the director had been living in bothered to put a trailer together. But there was a trailer composed much later for some sort of Fantastifest or something, which, basically played into it being bad. So it says spellbinding narration.
Okay.
In order to help sell the movie. So
it
did. It was spellbinding. Not all spells are good.
That's true. There are plenty of shit ones.
Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
A spell in prison.
Oh,
that's not good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's been some activity.
You're looking out the window.
So I tweeted a picture of this with the caption, I have no idea. Have you seen this? And then later on, anyone? To which Blokebusters replies with that's John Candy. I don't know if the movie is Uncle Buck. Could be. But it's just him saying no.
I thought you were saying that Blokebusters was looking at the picture of the creeping terror and saying, "That's John Candy. I just can't place it."
It's something.
What's wrong with you?
I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, says at Old Man Calloway on Twitter. Says, this was just baffling. Did they lose the audio and have the narrator make up for it? Yes, they did. Why is the 30% of the runtime taken up by the dance footage? They couldn't afford to do anything else. I love how everyone stands still to be eaten. One good thing, I liked how they somewhat tried to explain the monster scientifically. Yes, maybe. I assume he's getting at the idea that they are test things designed to explore what mankind is capable of and send it back to the real aliens who are unseen. I like that. That was menacing.
Okay. No, I enjoyed the Psycho-esque, but insanely more boring, like the way it was delivered.
It was the only part of the movie that was expositional, and I took issue with it.
Well, it was just like he was dying in his arms, and the narrator's just like, he went on to explain that.
Yeah. Literally everything.
Yeah.
Indeed. P.S. Twitter won't let me change my username. That is a shame. But we'll just have to deal with that.
I think BT that it makes me realise that everything in that name is not true, and that you're a great man.
You're a great man with an adequately sized butt.
It's almost perfect, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
and I've seen many.
Oh no, we've got more to do.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck. Right, what's left? Oh, one better thing. What have you got? Thanks, OG team.
Thanks, OG team. It follows.
Oh God, it follows.
God, and what follows the OG team? It follows. Yeah, it's for a similar creeping terror, but actually, meaning something and feeling threatening and, inexorable, as all creeping terror should be. It's very, very good horror. It's one of those ones that, I'm glad you showed me, and it affected me not in a way that made me feel like I wanted to die, which means it was good horror that I connected with. And,
I need to try harder.
To scare me. Terrify me, but meaningfully, please.
Absolutely. Always.
You just do it whilst holding Das Kapital or something. Wow.
Oh God.
Incredibly
At the very
thoughtful.
least, we can appreciate that.
Yeah.
What shall I have? Tell you what, let's go with Robot Monster, which I think might be, aside from the giant spiders, of course, these are the only 3 monster movies we've done, in spite of the amount of time we spent in the 50s. We've had, the incredibly strange creatures, but not really a monster movie. And, I think there are monsters in, like, The Wild Woman of Wongo, and, what was the other one? The Fire Maiden from Outer Space. There was a weird little dude, but nothing, like, directly...
The Roman.
Monstrous. Oh, who was the Roman? Yes, Roman was, Robo Monster. And then in Fire Maidens from Outer Space, it was the guy they end up killing with the grenade.
Yeah.
And you throw it, and there was the solid sound cut between, I'll try a gas grenade. Ah! Very good.
I'm glad you fleshed that out, because I just had grenade in my head, and I couldn't piece the rest of it together. It was nebulous, but...
It's extremely good.
You've made it
I
work.
recommend all of those, and our episodes on them, I think, are rather good as well. I think, often these sort of 50s B movies bring out something special in us. Which I enjoy. But yes, Robot Monster I think is probably the most fun of all of them.
I think so.
Do or do not. Considering contradiction, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, it has there's edifice there. There's actually structure and ideas as opposed to just what are we coming in at? 28 minutes. All right. We'll put in another dancing scene. Dance monkeys.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And that is the one better thing.
Brilliant. The one brilliant thing, more like.
One brilliant thing. The one better thing. Paul, how can people find out about this brilliant thing?
Well, if they're as brilliant as they say they are, fucking sheeple. Brilliant. Then they can come and see us on Twitter and Facebook at OGT Pod, where we put out the call for the OGT. So if you've seen a movie, any movie, chances are we're going to ask about it.
Yeah.
Because all movies are bad. Yeah. Odds are. Chance is a fine thing. And you can tell us there, or you can become a patron, where we put out the call there as well, and you get to tell us.
That'd be such a cool thing to do.
That'd be such a cool thing to do, because we like getting pounds, and when you can become a member for as little as £1 a month,
just a £1
for uninhibited access to all of our contents,
and my pants,
Paul's pants, and my incontinence. There's from pants to incontinence and everything in between. It's a lot more than you'd think, listener. Hundreds of hours of extra stuff featuring Paul and myself, featuring all of our wonderful guests, and people who appear on OGT as much as I do currently.
It's all sorts of incredible content in there. Amazing stuff that we've created, and quizzes and games, and and a puzzle. Probably we'll create a puzzle.
Whoa! Yeah. Watch this space.
Watch this space and watch that space.
The puzzle's life.
Full space.
I'm the Pausel.
Oh, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your beautiful balls. And remember.
Too late.
The one good thing. Oh, God. The one good thing about... What was this fucking movie called? About the creeping terror.
Robot Monster.
The one good thing about Robot Monster is that a hell of a lot more happens in it than the creeping terror. Yes. But if you have to know about the creeping terror, probably a bit way tax a hootenanny.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Boo.
Ah!